Hey guys, I live in a sick home. Do you? Most of us feel like we have a cold, a sinus infection, migraines, vertigo, whatever the case may be, from our own home. I've been dealing with this for 7 years. To come this far and trying to figure out everything in my house, I've eliminated so many things. And I live with oil heating system. And I have a fantastic landlord, and he replaced just about everything. We will get into that. But recently, the past 4 weeks, I've been smelling a burning sensation like an exhaust smell. And it only happens once in a while. It's not all the time, and it's just very strange. And when it does happen, this is the area. Right there behind that wall is the chimney, and right below is the oil burner. And like I said, every once in a while I'll get this puff of burnt smell, and sometimes it could be worse than other times. And when that happens, it actually hurts my heart. It fills up my lungs and it hurts. My eyes are bloodshot, and I have to go to the hospital and see what's going on. And sometimes it's just too much and too annoying, but it's the vertigo that bothers me the most. And after talking to the landlord, we just couldn't figure out what was going on. So on my dime, I paid $600, and I had Jeff at the indoor doctor come in and do a full air analysis testing. And we came up with some tests, and we're gonna get into it, so join us. Hello everybody, it's Mike, the Baldadonis. Boom! If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Mike the Baldadonis, and I talk about many different topics. Sharing life experiences one video at a time is my motto. I talk about being in my early 20s, doing 5 years and 3 months in prison for a first-time drug offense. Only to get out unhappy with my body, I decided to do steroids, gain 105 pounds of pure muscle, only to have a heart attack and other steroid-related health issues. I currently deal with migraines and vertigo from today's environmental pollution, today's foods, and VOCs. I have Dr. Peter Picoco. He's my main man. The reason why I'm on YouTube, he talks about inspiration. I talk about cars. Cars are my hobby, and I bring you guys along showing you the pros and cons of each vehicle that I buy. I have conspiracy theories with Gary from the gym, and I bring other people on board sharing their interesting life stories as well. Okay guys, just a little bit about me if you don't know who I am and you don't watch my channel on a regular basis. I talk about migraines and vertigo all the time. It's from environmental pollution. It's from today's foods. Anything that's genetically modified, gluten, I'm sensitive, I get dizzy. So once I smell someone smoking a cigarette, or I smell diesel fuel, or I smell gasoline or a motorcycle exhaust system, for example, if I go into stores and I smell the dye from clothing, if I smell most chemicals, it feels like if you just got off an amusement ride and you're dizzy like this and you're spinning. I've been spinning like that for over 6 years straight. And I had to see specialists. I had to see tons of doctors, and doctors give me medications, and those end up giving me suicidal thoughts. I talk about all that stuff, and I eliminated everything out of my house. I went through 5 sets of furniture because all of the VOCs on the furniture, it was too much. I had to rip up rugs, had to throw away a lot of clothes. I had to invest in this house. Even though I do not own this house, I have a fantastic landlord, like I said. He's been dealing with this as much as I have. He's been paying to have everything done to this house. So we had a new oil tank put in, oil lines, a new liner in the chimney cleaned and swept before that, obviously. He does as much as possible to help me out. But in the meantime, he doesn't understand, or people don't understand, that because I deal with all this, all the specialists I had to see, I went through a chiropractor at first. I went to acupuncturist, hundreds and hundreds of dollars for that. I went to a biofeedback specialist, which her name is Michelle Corey, and I'm doing a video coming up with her. So that's gonna be a really good, interesting video. So she changed the way I was able to eat, get away from all the gluten, get away from a leaky gut syndrome. So I'll talk about all that. I seen a neurologist chiropractor, Dr. Peter Pacoco. I seen him for 3 years. I spent thousands of dollars. I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars trying to clean up me, trying to straighten myself out. So buying all kinds of supplements, all kinds of vitamins, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I went on and on and on trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Finally, after 7 years, this is my seventh year, I know what I can eat that doesn't bother me. I'm dialed in. I know what bothers me for smells. I get that dialed in. But once I'm away from a smell, I come normal again, which seems kind of odd, right? I used to have dizziness all day and night, taking a shower, trying to go to bed dizzy. It's very scary, very frustrating. But because of my landlord being such a great guy, taking care of all that, everything seemed fine until this year. I started smelling that puff of smoke again. And it was a little bit at a time, and then some days it would just linger. And then it would hurt my lungs, it would hurt my heart, and I would have to go down to the emergency room and have myself checked out, you know? But the house doesn't do it all the time, which is very frustrating. You know, I used to get all these sinus infections from the house. I used to get all kinds of these colds and not know what why it was happening. A lot of us deal with pollution. You look all over the world, China, India, California, Australia with all the fires. There's a lot of pollution out there, but there's a lot of pollution in your own house. How many children, how many older adults have these health issues and nobody can figure them out? It could be formaldehyde, it can be mold, it could be the paint, the furniture, allergens from your cat or your dog. There's just too many things to actually try to figure out. But I get that down pretty good now. It's been several years, like I said, and I ended up calling Jeff, the indoor doctor, and he set up shop and he went through the whole house. I'm gonna post all my tests, so please pause if you choose to pause it so you can read all the test results. What ended up happening was I have moderate soot, and I also have moderate dander because I've owned a cat for 16 years and I just adopted another cat. So yeah, there's some dander in the house, but I don't have any allergy type issues. So the soot is the main concern, and it's mild. It's a mild concern, but at the same time, it does overwhelm me, and I get sick for a couple days, and it's just super frustrating. And I feel like moving. My landlord has suggested the same thing. He was like, Mike, maybe it's time for you to move on. But if it's something simple, I want it fixed. I don't mind spending some money. He spent money, and I also spent thousands and thousands of dollars because of my condition, trying to clean my system out. And you know, there's so many people out there just like me. So I'm trying to be relatable to you in one way or another with my stories. So let's have Jeff talk about what he's doing, all the gadgets that he has, and that's about it for today, okay guys? So if you have conditions at your house that bother you, hire someone like Jeff. It costs you a little bit of money, but at least he can pinpoint what the problem is. I finally have a sense of sanity because every time this happens, I call a family member, I call a friend, I call the landlord, I call somebody complaining that I can smell it again, and I'm not truly crazy. I actually have results of what the problem is. So with that said, I actually called the chimney people that actually fixed the chimney liner, and all I got was a recording for the past several days. I don't know if he's on vacation or not, but he's the next person that I'm calling, because Jeff suggests that maybe between the oil burner and the new liner, maybe there's a little leak somewhere and it's just coming through. So that will be on the chimney guy's list to do, I suppose. He's the one that put it in. So hopefully I can get this thing fixed and settled and be done with it. I love being here. I live on a big pond and I do not want to leave here. I have, again, a fantastic landlord. I love you, John. You know I do. And I've been driving you crazy for many years, and I don't mean to. It's just the way it's happened and the way my life has turned out. But no, I don't have any issues beside that, and it only happens once in a while, and hopefully I can stay here for many, many more years.
Jeff Bradley here with Indoor Doctor. We're here to test Mike's house to make sure it's as healthy as possible, to identify any toxins, carbonaceous matter, light hydrocarbons, and a whole host of other contaminants that can cause adverse health effects. With the combination of our diagnostic principles in testing and actually independent laboratory scientific evidence, we can merge this data to give Mike the peace of mind that he's looking for as far as how dangerous is this odor, and possibly some corrective actions. So what we have here is a chemical sorbent tube sample with mass spectrometry to analyze the types of chemicals in the air, in this case specifically with fuels, different hydrocarbons. That's going to be the focus. We actually have another type of pump where the laboratory is going to analyze for any types of soot particles that could be of interest. A unit here is called a photoionizer detector. So what we're doing is we're measuring instantly the total chemical levels, carbon dioxide, sewer gases, other toxic gases, nitric oxide, anything that can give us clues on the indoor space that could be related to the overall concern of air quality. Taking a look at a particle scanner. This is a 6-channel particle scanner. The size particles are on the left-hand side. They all mean something to me as far as contamination indexes have different size particles. The 0.3 micron will be more closely related to any soot type issues. And we also are running, we're going to run a photoelectric 30-minute short-term formaldehyde sensor where we're going to get the levels of formaldehyde, which are found in so many things today, from furnishings to flooring,
Right.
cabinets, iron-free clothing. So a lot of equipment. We're going to use an infrared camera to validate any sort of heat transfer issue inside the wall cavity as well. And we have our EMF meter with vertigo. So always I'm checking to see what the EMF levels are, because that could be a real big issue for a lot of people. Trying to see like the heat, the actual temperature, just seeing if there's a huge hot pocket. Obviously the walls are a little bit colder up top versus near the base. Just making sure that that's consistent. I'm interested in any soot or smoke, among other things.
Right.
But that could be an indication of something's wrong.
And what's that pickup?
So we're measuring total chemical levels.
Okay.
At 150 parts per billion. I think that that's going to translate on the lab's end, most likely in this moderate to elevated region of total chemicals.
Okay.
But what I'm interested in is to see if there are any light hydrocarbons or fuels in the air specifically.
Okay.
And then I'm interested in specifically what types of chemicals are present along with the description. That will let us know if we have an odor. Is it cancer-causing odor? Is it going to cause long-term health issues? Or are we dealing with an odor that's less involved? So that's an important feature. So one of the things that we're measuring is carbon monoxide, and people hear that all the time. Oh, I'm okay. Probably 99% of my clients say I have a carbon monoxide detector and it's never gone off, so I don't want, it's no issue. It is an issue because a carbon monoxide detector will only go off after 150 parts per million for 10 minutes. That's a life-threatening situation. So we urge people to invest in high quality carbon monoxide detectors that can at least get down to 5 parts per million. Headaches, nausea, fatigue, memory issues occur right around that 3 to 5 to 6 range, but people's detectors are not going off, so they think that everything's okay. So this is formaldehyde. It's again, it's a binding agent with formaldehyde that has basically found in a lot of polymers, glues, iron-free shirts, spray foam, and you're at less than 10 parts per billion, and that's a really good sign. Talking about air quality in general, people say that, hey Jeff, I want to test the air. Well, let's talk about that, because there's a lot of facets about air quality that you could be reactive to. Some people it's molds, formaldehydes, chemicals, ultrafine particulates, soots, fiberglass, the list goes on, toxic gases, sewer gases, EMF. So what we try to do is provide comprehensive testing in a lot of situations, or target in on specific chemicals that people are most interested in testing for, whether it be a certain toxin or a type of chemical, so we can do that. So if you have any sort of concerns about overall air quality, let us know. We're completely independent. We do not perform any remediation. Fully licensed for the top ranked company in New England, but even if you're outside of New England, if you're watching this, feel free. Shoot me a note on Twitter at indoordoctor.com, and we'd be glad to help you. Take care.
Okay, so if you want to hear a little bit more of what Jeff does, he goes into really good detail, and he's on a podcast called Living Above the Drama, and the episode is Jeff Bradley, and you can hear everything he has to say. And he also gave me a few names of doctors that if you live in the New England area that you can also look up and see if they can help you out as well. All right, so until the next video, everybody, Baldadonis out.